What up? And welcome to another episode of From the Script to the Screen. No! KK! He can't keep getting away with this! Shout out to Breaking Bad. If you know, you know. The Jujutsu Kaisen edition, episode 19 of season 2 is out now. Jumping into volume 15, featuring the person I don't even want to show you guys. Mahito's on the cover. They finish off volume 14 and end with chapter 125, titled The Story About That Girl, featuring the background of Nobara. Phenomenal episode this week. So as always, first and foremost, gotta shout out the creator, JJK Akutami, who I have a beef with. Now that I think about it, he did this back-to-back weeks. Bad enough we lost the homie Nanami last week. Now we had to go through this. And shout out to the animators at Mappa Studios. Action-packed episode. Love what they did with the chapters. The fight between Yuji and Mahito was great. Like one of the homies tweeted, it was a fisticuffs. Saw Yuji putting hands and feet on Mahito. And honestly, that was thanks to Nobara. We could get into the episode. It starts off with the fight between Mahito and Nobara. While he was fighting with Yuji, we saw the flashback of when the cursed spirits were together and saw that Mahito broke himself off and had a double running around. And so this double runs into Nobara, who for a little bit is looking pretty invulnerable. We know that Nobara, it's not too powerful, even though she has a pretty cool curse technique. And I say that because at the time, we know that physical damage isn't just going to hurt Mahito. So even though she is pretty powerful physically, not enough to land significant damage on Mahito. She's not going to do damage like Yuji does. But as the battle goes on, like we saw before, Nobara's technique is kind of like a voodoo straw doll. And so, unbeknownst to Mahito, this double that he paired off, I would say at the time, took a good amount of resources from him, the best I could say. Depending on how much you break yourself off, depending on how much damage you could take. And so when Nobara ends up using hairpin resonance, we see that Mahito's double ends up working as a conduit. And so when she uses the technique on him directly, it actually ends up affecting the main body. And we see that during the fight, it ends up creating an opening for Yuji. And that's when Yuji starts to beat him down. And so when Mahito notices the significance of what's going on, he notices that Nobara is also a natural enemy to him. Something that we know that he's been looking for. And so he ends up running away because we already know from what we saw last episode is that he has a plan. And so he wants to hurt Nobara anyway. And so unfortunately for my homegirl, Nobara, they end up making a switch and she doesn't really notice it at the time. You gotta remember that Nobara wasn't down here at all. So she doesn't really know what's going on. And she's kind of stunned to see Yuji, another double of Mahito, and ends up leaving an opening for him to actually touch her physically. And so, if we're being honest, I gotta say it was a smart plan by Mahito. And we see that the curse techniques have kind of had the upper hand this whole time. The fight honestly could have been going a little better for us if Sukuna might have not been released, but the cursed spirits definitely had the upper hand when it came to coordination. And so many things happening in the mix, the appearance of Toji, and just other jujutsu sorcerers in general kind of made a haywire for our people. And now, like I've been saying, our backs are even more up against the wall. We get a little flashback of our girl Nobara, shows us a little bit more about her upbringing. You know that she's been desperate to get out of her neighborhood when she was young. Country girl. And so we get a look into that. We also get a look into her best friend at the time, who ended up being an outsider as well. And I think that next week we'll get more background information on her, since I did hear her a little bit in the preview. I don't know if everybody watches that, but seeing how the episode ended, we're gonna have to see what they give us next week. You guys know I'm a manga reader, so I'll leave it at that. But like I said, love the episode. The people that worked on it at MAPPA did a great job with this production. The music, cinematography of the episode, and the direction made it real heartfelt. Because like I said, the guy's been suffering this whole time. So every week it just gets worse and worse, man. But leave it at that. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.